Hey, boys and girls, here we are at Issues, that political talk show that's sure to make you hurl your lunch, regurgitate if you have to, feed it to the birdies, and then have a good life. Well, anyway, here's what I'm saying about the good life. Guess what? They're going to shut us down. Yeah, the good life. The government is going to take away CTV and turn it into GTV. That's right, government TV, where all we do is praise our local officials. And our fabulous board of supervisors is the cause of it. You know, we all knew that there was going to be shit happening soon, but these guys, they decided that they're just going to pull the rug out from under our feet a year early and not tell anybody about it. Oh yeah, you know, 2014, 2013, what's the difference? Those guys won't notice. And so here we are at the station going, what? We're going to get shut down in a couple of months? We don't have a say in it? And you know what they're doing, folks? They're pulling the wool over our eyes here. They don't want to tell us because they just want us to show up one day with the doors closed. They don't want us to know that they're shutting us down because we're going to make a stink, and then all you guys at home can make a stink too. And oh, they don't want to stink. So anyway, man, you got to call these guys, the board of supervisors. Here's the number. Call these guys, Zach and John and Bruce and all you guys, man. Come on. What's the deal? Oh, we're just going to sit here and let you fuck us? Come on. That's our money. We have it guaranteed for another year. That doesn't mean you guys can just pull it away from us. Good grief. Well, anyway, what's going on with the real news? Oh, yeah, Hillary Clinton. You know what? She's quitting. She's leaving the State Department and moving on. And you know what? That's the greatest thing yet. Goodbye, Hillary. Goodbye. That's right. She says goodbye, but you know what that really means? Hello, hello, hello. Well, here she is at that last Senate hearing about the Benghazi shit. Here she is, and we got to see the best of Hillary. We got to see a happy Hillary. And then we got to see a sad Hillary, and she was so sad that the people died. And then we saw an angry people because she's going to take charge, and, oh, I'm quitting, but if I was only here longer, I'd take charge, and, oh, I'd show those guys. But anyway, I'm quitting, so I can't. Well, goodbye, Hillary. Oh, what? Hello, Hillary? Hillary Super PAC 2016, you can already buy the t-shirts and give money? That's right, folks. Hillary Clinton in 2016, that's the person you want. And don't mind the Trilateral Commission or the Council on Foreign Relations or Skull and Crossbones because she's the first woman. Well, maybe she's not a woman and that's why she's in that group. We don't know for sure. Speaking of people that gone away and come back, here she is. Condi Rice. That's right, folks. She's back. Obama's going to put her in his cabinet. That's right. There's more Bush in the Obama cabinet. And you know that's going to make our Obama a happy character. I mean, look at this. He's going to have it all filled up with his little women there. You know, he's just a player. You know, that Obama, yeah, man, he's getting down. I'm a player, man. I'm a player. And you know what? We thought Bill Clinton was a player. Bill's got him beat by a long shot. I think Obama's taking the run. I don't know, man. You guys have to decide. But anyway, you know I can't do a show without mentioning the big guy himself, old President Obama. You know, he's taking charge and it's his election and he's back. And, oh, man, there ain't no ego trip with our guy. And, oh, what? State of the Union? And we don't need the Republican vote and I'll just do things my way? Oh, well, that's no ego trip if you ask me. It sounds like more it's his way or the highway. You better start hitchhiking, folks, because it's going to be Obama's plan. And so let's talk about that State of the Union, huh? How about that stuff? Same old shit. Yeah, man, same old shit. Immigration laws, you know, oh, yeah, we're going to give them green cards, yeah. Oh, guns are bad. Yeah, guns are bad. You know what? And through that whole speech of how much he's got all these plans on investments in research and investments in schools and investments in all this kind of stuff. And you know what? There's no mention whatsoever about our national debt that's just out of control and there's no controlling it and we're going to be broke before you know it. Or does he mention all the drone strikes that are killing all those innocent peoples overseas? And did he once mention the white papers where we have the right now to go around and kill American people wherever they are if they raise a gun against the United States government? We're going to take you out. Well, hey, wait a minute. That Second Amendment was all about having the right to bear arms against the tyrannical government. So that means now if we follow our Constitution rights and try to stop you bastards, you're going to kill us. Well, you're going to kill us anyway, aren't you? I guess it really doesn't matter. So anyway, let's talk to our hero, shall we? Hey, Mr. President. Hey, man, welcome back to our show.
Well, thanks, Billy. It's really good to be here.
Well, I got to congratulate you. That was some victory you pulled off this year. You left everybody in the dust.
Oh, well, thanks again, Spilly. You know, the American people have spoken, and I'm going to take that, and I'm going to go and run to the bank with that, and we're going to do some stuff like never been done before, Spilly, let me tell you.
Yes, so you do have a very ambitious plan ahead of you. Do you think you're going to have any problems with that?
That's right, Spilly. It's time for action. The American people have spoken, and we're going to move on many agendas. We're going to take care of the immigration. We're going to take care of the guns. We're going to take care of all the world population problems. We're going to take care of everything. Don't you worry about that at all, Spilly.
So is that still why we don't have a budget? You're just trying to push another 3-month pass, punt, kick thing down the field there? You know, let's just make everything good for another 4 months and we'll worry about this in a couple more months. You know, you haven't had a budget since you've been in office, Mr. Obama.
Well, what's that, Michelle? The kid? Well, Spilly, I gotta run. Michelle's calling me. This is more important. And, by the way, I'm really sorry to hear that they're gonna shut you down out there in Santa Cruz. Yeah, you know, I'm really sorry about that. You sap.
Well, thanks, Prez. I really do appreciate your support. And yeah, you know, they're going to shut us down, but we'll be back. We'll be back on YouTube, and we're going to get closer in your face, and we're going to hit more people. Right now, we're just hitting Santa Cruz. You watch out. We're coming to a theater near you, buddy. Well, it's pretty clear now that it's going to be another 4 years of bullshit. And then, you know, I heard about this $1 trillion coin thing. Yeah, man. Here we go. You know, we got the Federal Reserve, and they've kind of taken over back in 1913. That's 100 years ago, folks. They came in and paid off a bunch of people, and the European bankers started this Fed Reserve, and they started printing money and giving it to us, but we are actually not getting it. We're borrowing it, and we got to pay them to print our money, and now we got this $18 trillion debt, and it's all interest, and it's all out of control, and, you know, and they come up with this plan, man. We print these $1 trillion coins with the Prez, man. We print up only 18 of them, so they're really worth $1 trillion. And then we go ahead and give that to the Fed Reserve and say, hey, we just paid you off. Go away. Leave us alone. Well, you know what? People have been trying that since back in the days of Lincoln. And you know what happened to him, don't you? Well, guess what? That's happened to pretty much everybody that's tried to get rid of the Federal Reserve. These guys hire thugs and they kill them. And if they don't kill the guy that's trying to get rid of them, you know what they do? They make America so impoverished and so unbalanced that we have to go back to them, that we have to. And so, folks, this $1 trillion coin is a great way out. And you know what our Prez says? Oh, that's a great idea, but I don't think we can do that. And you know what, folks? This shit goes all the way back to the Wizard of Oz days. I mean, way back in then, the original story says that Dorothy had silver slippers and traveled along the Golden Road, which was the bankers. And the silver slippers was when our government decided to print silver coins, so we didn't have to deal with these bankers and their interest. And so this story goes all the way back to those days, folks. And you know, the The Scarecrow represents the farmers, and the Tin Man represents all the manufacturers, and the Cowardly Lion was the guy who could have blown the whistle on the whole lot of them, but was a cowardly fucking lion and didn't. And so here's poor little Dorothy trying to fucking make sense out of this world, and she ends up going to Washington, and the guy's hiding behind the drapes. Reminds you of anybody we know? Well, I tell you, man. But you know what? The scariest thing that I heard in the last week, and this really put me to my place, I tell you. You know, Senator Hagel is running for the Secretary of Defense, or Obama's nominating him for Secretary of Defense. And he had to have a Senate confirmation hearing. And during those hearings, the Republicans pretty much laid into this guy. Even though he's a Republican himself, they laid into him. And one of the Republicans, Mr. Lindsey Graham, says, and I quote, "I don't think Mr. Hagel can deal with the upcoming situation. The world is going to be on fire for the next 4 years, and he can't deal with that." And I was sitting there going, world on fire? Ah, Christ. What the hell does that mean? World on fire for the next 4 years? Ah, shit. Well, oh boy, I can't wait. How about you? And now the funniest thing that I heard is the whole Occupy movement. And this is classic politics, folks, and this goes way back in the day too, where the bad guy tries to make scapegoats out of a good guy and to see what kind of reactions happen. Well, this time, guess who started that whole Occupy movement? Occupy Wall Street. Well, you know who started that? The bankers. Yeah, man. These guys said, well, this actually goes way back to the Bush days, to be honest with you. Bush and Cheney and Rumsfeld, you know, the first thing they did was they changed the bankruptcy rules. Then they started the war, which caused the recession, which caused people to lose their homes, lose their jobs, lose their money, lose their families. And how pissed did we get? Well, we got pissed enough to start this Occupy movement. And we saw how far it went. And you know, it goes back to 1998. Yeah, Bill Clinton days. It goes all the way back then, where our government put these plans in motion to destroy our citizenship, to destroy our rights, to take over. And they practiced these goon squads with the police and all these goon squads to come in, riot squads and SWAT teams and all this shit that trained them to go after our own citizens who are peacefully protesting. Well, we saw what happened. Well, this protest went on for a little while, and oh yeah, the bankers that were after Wall Street and Occupy Wall Street, well, then we got smart and it was Occupy the banks, and as soon as that happened, what went down? That was it. Shut them down. Every town across the country had the same goons come through and clean it all out. Now, that was just a warning, folks, of what's to come. And they just wanted to see how pissed off you would get during this crisis. And you know what? Some of you got pissed, but for the most part, I'd say these guys got it, man. The bankers got you in their pocket. You don't want to do anything. 9 out of 10 of you guys don't even want to know that you're getting fucked. We try to tell you, and you say, oh, no, that can't be happening. Oh, no, our government's good. Oh, I really like Obama. Oh, no, they can't do that to us. Well, you know what, folks? I don't know how many times I got to say it. I'm no wizard. I'm not making this shit up. I get it through the media. Only what I do is I listen to both sides and watch them all pointing fingers and come up with that middle of the road ground that says we're fucked. And so anyway, folks, on that happy note, I'd like to bring it to the close of this part of the show. And we got some great stuff still ahead of us. We got a History of America Part 4. Oh yeah, it's just getting more and more crazy for us poor little pilgrims and settlers. And then we've got Mr. Steve Plage, who's going to talk about the Citizens United for Santa Cruz action team. And so stay tuned. We'll be right back.
The boat's just about ready.
Okay, thanks. Did you make sure there's enough food on board for everybody to make it through the long trip?
Yeah, there's plenty of food. Brother Spilly, can I talk to you?
Yes, Brother Barry, what is it?
I was thinking about going on the next boat home to bring my family back.
Well, you know what, Brother Barry, that's not such a bad idea. In fact, I was thinking about that. We got that whole church to build, and, you know, if you brought your family and maybe that brother of yours, that big guy, what was his name?
Leroy?
Yeah, Leroy. If you can get him and maybe some of his friends to come out, we could sure use his help.
I don't know, he's kind of touchy.
Well, maybe you can have him bring some of his friends along too, and you know what? I'll let them stay in my guest house out back until we can build a place for them.
I don't know.
Man, lie if you have to. Do whatever it takes. We got to get those guys here. We got to get that church done before the king shows up. And speaking of the king, I almost forgot. He says that when you take that boat back to get those guys, you need to stop in Afghanistan and pick up that package. He says that we got to have that package here when he shows up.
Package?
Yeah. You know, you'll probably have to use the flag to make sure that they'll give it to you. At least that's what the king says. And yeah, just tell him what you need. It'll be okay.
How?
Hi-oh.
Things are getting out of control. The people on the last boat are very bad.
Yeah, Chief, I'm really sorry about that, dude. You know, I don't know what's going on. These people that came over, they all got criminal records and they got guns and shit, and it's getting really sketchy, man. But the king is coming. The king is coming, and it'll be good when he gets here. Don't worry, everything will be fine.
Well, if it wasn't for the great show that he does, we would have got rid of you people a long time ago.
Well, hey, boys and girls, here I am with one of my favorite politicians, Mr. Steve Plage. Steve, thank you so much for being here, buddy.
Sandy, thanks for having me.
Oh, man. You know, it's just been crazy times here in Santa Cruz, and we are so blessed to have good people like Steve helping us out. Not only does Steve help out with the homeless legal referral service and helping us homeless people get some sort of representation when everybody else won't even blink an eye towards us, but he's also... he tried to run for city council, just got squeaked out, I hear, but that's something that he's not going to let him hold it back, and he's already getting involved with this new action committee. What's this all about, Steve?
Well, some people in town and myself formed what we call the Citizens for a Better Santa Cruz, and really it has two functions. One is to generate some public policy around how we think the city should be governed, water policy, social policy, electoral policy, environmental policy, because policies really are the basis of how we're governed. Your policies you put in place, and then you have programs that build off those policies. Secondarily, we put the group together so we could kind of raise the level of public debate. As you know, right now, a lot of the discussion in town is being driven by Take Back Santa Cruz, by Santa Cruz neighbors, and while they have every right to be in the public arena and make the statements, whatever they believe in, we think we need to balance that discussion a little bit. So we're starting to create a conversation that is balanced out about how we approach social policies, how we approach homelessness, and things like that.
Very interesting, very interesting. Now, this committee that you're just forming, how many people are going to be on that?
Well, right now, we've got a nice Facebook page, going to put a website up. There's about 300 of us right now, and we're planning our first big general meeting, which will be probably in mid to late March. And then we'll just kind of try to figure out what goals, what kind of policies we want to set. I mean, a lot of it is grassroots policy making. We used the right to vote on D-Cell kind of as our inspiration. As you know, when we decided that the city council wanted to build a desal plant, a lot of people in the community said, no, we're not really sure we want that. And so we put together a petition drive and put it on the ballot. Now, the city council had no intention of giving the people the right to vote on whether to build this plant. But we raised enough signatures, put it on the ballot, and actually passed the ballot measure in November. So now the people have the right to vote. But not only that, in the charter amendment, it says that it shall be the policy of the city of Santa Cruz to give the people the right to vote on the desal plant. And so that's what we want to do in all ways. It should be the policy of the city to let people vote, or contribute to the decision-making process about how they treat the homeless, what our environmental policy is, how we're spending our money, whether or not we should have district elections, whether or not we should have publicly financed elections. Those things are the real questions kind of facing the city now, and we think that the more people are involved in that discussion, that conversation, the better the city's going to be.
Well, I so agree. Now, who is this committee going to report to? The city council, to the police department? Who's going to listen to you guys?
Well, we will be lobbying both the city council and the police department and the Chamber of Commerce and the Conference and Visitors Council. All the decision makers in the city will be hearing from us on all of these various issues and policies, how we think we can be governed better, we can govern more effectively, more fairly, more people can be involved in the process. So it's up to us really to get that kind of grassroots participation, get enough people so that we can really have, a profound effect on the people that we're trying to persuade.
Well, 300 is a pretty good number, but out of that 300, how many do you think is actually going to be active? A lot of people say they want to be involved, but never show up to any meetings or get out there to any of the
And
events.
it's a really keen observation, as you know, that happens very often. It happens in progressive politics. It even happens actually in conservative politics in general. We think that there'll be a core of maybe 30 or 40 people who will really be active, and then they'll be kind of a reflection of the larger group. And if we can do that, I think that we can be effective beyond that, because it's really kind of a, fifth degree of separation kind of thing. You talk to somebody about something, and they talk to somebody, and they talk to somebody else, and after a while you reach a consensus of what the community really wants in terms of its policies and its programs, and really how the city is going to be run as we move forward into the future.
Well, how are you going to break this nut that we have here, nutshell, of all the people that just don't care? There's like maybe 1 out of 10 cares about what's happening in the city, and the other 9 out of 10 really don't give a hoot. How are you going to break that shell and get to those other 9%?
You do it like you do anything else. You start a conversation. When we wanted to open Harvey West Pool, we started it with a conversation. When we wanted to do a Thanksgiving dinner for the homeless or people in reduced circumstances civic, it started with a simple conversation. It starts with conversations just like this. And when people become engaged in that conversation, interested in what you have to say, and knowing that they can really have some effect on how the city is governed and how the city is going to be, organized and structured and moving into the future, I think that they begin to feel like, what I have to say is worth someone hearing. I have worth as a citizen. And when that happens, I think people become more engaged. It breaks through that veil, that wall of silence, which is altogether too prevalent.
Well, we got the good thing with the social media thing going on, where you can get out to a lot more people, and a lot more people can get involved through Twitter and Facebook and whatnot. But then sometimes in numbers you lose your main objectives, and things get off course. And so, how are you going to take all these people and all these voices and put that into one voice?
Well, what we want to do is keep our policy goals and objectives very sharp. Say this is what we'd like to see, and this is what we'd like to see supported, and these are the kinds of programs that we think need to be implemented in order to fulfill this policy. If you keep your goals, very sharp and very identified, I think one of the criticism people have of Occupy Santa Cruz, for instance, and I'm involved in Occupy Santa Cruz, as you know, and have been since the beginning, but one of the criticisms of that group was that they didn't have any defined goals. They didn't really have any defined objectives. They wanted to work for social and economic justice, and they have done so very effectively, but not in a goal-oriented sense. And I think with citizen groups like this, then you have a direction, a specific direction that everybody agrees that they want to move in, and a very clearly defined goal, and you move toward that, and I think you can make some progress that way.
Well, it sounds like a great concept. Now, how can people get involved with this? How can people get a hold of your group?
Well, we have a terrific Facebook page, Citizens for a Better Santa Cruz. They can call me at 466-6078 at any time. They can get a hold of me on splach@gmail.com. And we'll have a website up within the next 3 or 4 weeks that people can kind of contribute to that as we move along. But I think there's going to be a lot of opportunity to be engaged, to be a citizen in Santa Cruz that's making it a better Santa Cruz, and that's what we intend to do.
Great. Now, when's his first meeting again?
It'll be in mid to late March. We're probably going to be at the Loudon Nelson Center. We'll get a large room over there, and we hope to see a lot of folks over there who are interested in a challenge of a change and progressive movement in Santa Cruz.
Now, Steve, this is all really good, but what's going to happen here pretty soon is that our free speech is slowly being taken away by our also liberal government. And we might not have a voice here pretty soon. You guys think you might be able to help us out?
Absolutely, no question about it. You know, we believe, and I believe personally, that freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, freedom of movement, freedom of thought in our country, and particularly in our community, is one of the most precious rights that anybody has. Anything we can do to keep that alive and vital in our community, we're going to do every day.
Perfect, Steve, perfect. Well, good luck to you with this new committee. We're going to probably talk to you more in the future. There's so much good going on in Santa Cruz, folks, and you just got to keep your eyes open and your ears open. So when you sit there at home and you're bitching that, man, this city's getting out of control and nobody listens to me, well, there's people that want to listen. There's people that care about what you have to say. And this Citizens Action Committee is just one great outlet. And so I hope as many of you that are in my voice right now that can hear me, you get involved with this committee. At least check it out on Facebook. What's the Facebook again?
Citizens for a Better Santa Cruz.
Yeah, man, I love that whole thing. There you go, folks. So, Steve, thank you, buddy.
And thank
let's
you.
get on with the show, shall we? Do you want to have dancing bones too? Well, it's very simple. Just visit the McClellan Wellness Center on Seabright Avenue in Santa Cruz. Give him a chance and he'll make your bones dance the night away. McClellan Wellness Center.
Welcome to Boulder Creek Music. Boulder Creek Music is a full-line, full-on music store offering a wide variety of new, used, and vintage instruments of all kinds, including guitars, amps, effects, keyboards, microphones, drum sets, and accessories. We take pride in carrying rare and unique instruments and also stock plenty of gear and learning material for beginner and young musicians. Located in the heart of Boulder Creek in the Santa Cruz Mountains, we are easily accessible by Highway 9. We buy, sell, trade, and repair. So bring in your old gear and we'll be happy to take a look. We also offer lessons and are looking forward to being a one-stop shop for all musicians and bands. Whether the beginner or the serious collector, Boulder Creek Music has something for you. Boulder Creek Music, your one-stop shop for all your musical needs in the San Lorenzo Valley.